Hello everyone, and welcome back for another Rocket Lab Saturday here at Stock Trek. Now, I know a lot of the hype around the Rocket Lab stock has been all about the whole conflict between Elon Musk and Donald Trump that has been very public on social media, and it is just the talk of the world right now. But I want you to keep in mind that there are other things that we need to be looking at right now, and let us get distracted with all of this hype that is going on right now. So stay tuned, because I am going to break down for you what is really going on other than the headlines, okay? What is going on with the stock? What is going on with Rocket Lab as a company? Stay tuned as I go over the market cap, the valuation, and what I think is happening with this stock right now that we as investors need to keep our eyes on this Rocket Lab Saturday. Rocket Lab is getting exposure. So for me, this surge in the share price, it's not just hype based because of the Elon Musk and the Donald Trump fallout. What I think this has done is I think it has made investors in the space area, or people that are following politics in general, it is making them look at alternatives. And because they're looking at, well, what other alternatives could there be? They are stumbling across Rocket Lab. Maybe they came across it for the first time. Maybe they've heard about it before, and it's just bringing a little bit more excitement about the potential that Rocket Lab might be able to be a direct, competitor or a direct, alternative to SpaceX. But here's the thing. What I want to point out is Rocket Lab is not doing the exact same things that SpaceX is doing right now, okay? So this whole feud that's going on between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, it's kind of disheartening, especially as a space enthusiast like myself, because we do not want to see anything affected, not even with SpaceX and, like he threatened to pull the Crew Dragon thing. We don't want to see things like that happening in the space world. So my point is that while Rocket Lab is benefiting from this argument between, these two world famous people, we don't want that to happen, okay? Because we want Rocket Lab's growth to be based on fundamentals and true value, and not just GameStop type hype, okay? Part of that hype is good. Like I said, it's bringing notice to Rocket Lab. People are talking about Rocket Lab more, but let's face the reality, folks. Rocket Lab is not SpaceX right now. Rocket Lab is not doing the same thing as SpaceX right now. Rocket Lab does not have a capsule like Crew Dragon right now. I'm not saying that Rocket Lab isn't going to have it. I'm just saying right now, at this point in time, they don't. So technically, they are not an alternative to SpaceX right now, okay? Not technically, not yet. So I don't think we should be getting fully excited about this little tiff that's going on right now, because Rocket Lab isn't doing the exact same things as SpaceX, and it can't replace SpaceX at the moment. Sure, they may get looked at and more favored upon for future defense contracts, but let's face it, this is all running based on emotions, right? So this is all on the emotions of Donald Trump and the emotions of Elon Musk. I'm not saying that emotions can't move a market, because a market can be moved and manipulated based on the emotions of people. We've seen it. We've seen hype, we've seen run-ups, all that a lot of time is where the valuations explode, but they're not meeting the fundamentals, right? So we want to see positive growth based upon real world concrete value, okay? I do believe Rocket Lab is a valuable stock, but I like seeing the value based on actual movement, like neutron progress, or, you know, again, like a nice acquisition like we've recently seen with Geos. But I don't want to see things like Musk and Trump fighting, and this is, no, this is not the type of growth we want to see. I'm not saying it isn't affecting our, you know, beloved Rocket Lab stock in a positive way. It is, but again, let's look at the real things here and not just emotions, because Donald Trump's emotions can change, Elon Musk's emotions can change, people can change their minds, okay? So let's not just set a firm ideology based on someone's feelings, okay? Here's one thing I do know. A famous investor once said that when people are greedy, be fearful, and when people are fearful, be greedy. And right now, people are excited. They're getting a little greedy, you know, and I just think we kind of need to take a step back, take a breather. Please just relax on the hype about Elon and Donald. I know it's kind of exciting, and I know it's like, you know, whatever, but to see these two powerful men going at it like little preschoolers, but there's more to look at than that. And there is the stock, and there is the real fundamentals. And if you want to see beyond the headlines, if you want to see beyond what everyone else is talking about and just headline news, and you want to see what's really going on with Rocket Lab stock, then be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss any more of my in-depth videos as I break down Rocket Lab for you every Saturday on Rocket Lab Saturday. Look at the volume. The volume that has gone into the stock obviously is like double what it normally is. And so volume can drive a stock price up. But is all that volume going to stay? Is that going to be consistently the volume that is now traded? Is that the new normal? I don't think so. I think a lot of it could be people on hype. It could be just traders cashing in on that news, that opportunity, you know, things like that happen. So we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled. With a share price sitting at around $28.92 a share as of today. So if you're watching this on another day, the share price will more likely be different. Now, that is an incredible jump from a year ago when the stock was under $5 a share. Now, at Rocket Lab's current market cap at just over $13 billion, its price forward to sales is almost 24 times. Now, I've been questioning, is this overvalued? And you should be asking yourself that question too. However, this is what you need to keep in mind. I know the stock price has gone up because of hype with the whole Elon and Trump thing, but I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on the fundamental of things. I want you to focus on the neutron developments, because ultimately what's really going to bring us to the moon with this stock is neutron, okay, and the neutron development. That is so important right now. If neutron flies, okay, if neutron flies and then proves its reusability factor, then I really believe, like I reiterated in the last video, we could be seeing $50 a share. And at $50 a share, we could be looking at over 40 forward in sales. So right now we're at about 24 forward in sales, but I think we could be going as close to 40, and that might sound high, but really, if neutron shows us that it's capable, if neutron shows us that the reusability factor is in fact working, then I don't really think that's overvalued. Right now though, without the proof of neutron, without the proof of the concept, it might technically be overvalued. But again, I know the stock market is tricky, isn't it? But it still may not be overvalued, because if neutron proves itself, then we still have a ways to run, okay? So it could go either way, but I really think Neutron will prove itself. I think even though technically we may look overvalued, I think long-term wise we're not, but put the brakes on, they are still not profitable, okay? They are on their way to profitability and they're doing a really good job at it. So here's what I'm trying to get to is once Rocket Lab becomes profitable, once we start seeing profits coming in, we are going to have some really nice fundamentals and some good share price movement. Once they start generating that profit, right now everything is based on possibilities. A lot of the share price is based on whether it's hype or possibilities or the idea of what's going to happen. But I think the reality of the share price is going to really start sinking in when we start seeing more concrete numbers, more profitability, more milestones with Neutron. Is there going to be more setbacks? Different things like that. So while this drama may have brought in some hype-driven momentum to the stock, it doesn't mean that it's going to continue, and it doesn't mean that it's going to stay long-term. That's why I kind of don't want you all to get too excited. Look at actual moving news like Neutron progress, Archimedes development progress. Let's look at things like that. This whole Donald Trump Musk thing, this is just smoke and mirrors, noise in the air. It's gonna fade because Rocket Lab cannot do the exact thing SpaceX is doing right now. In the future, I would love to see Rocket Lab have their own capsule and their own human space flight. And ultimately, I think they will do human space flight, but it's probably not going to be for a while. There's a lot of things that Rocket Lab has to prove with Neutron, and it hasn't been done yet. So right now, we are in that beginning phase still. We are still in the beginning phase. That's why I said several times before in past videos, now's a good time to still load up the boat, but be gentle, because right now, anything can happen, right? Rocket Lab stock could take off even more if we get some really good news, sound news, not just hype, or it could kind of go back a little bit because it's only running based on possibilities and hype, and something could happen and there could be a setback. I don't want to give concrete reassurance. That's why I'm saying no one has a crystal ball. If you really love Rocket Lab, you need a dollar cost average. The thing with Rocket Lab is that they are still in their R&D. They're still developing. And they're still building, so we are still seeing some cash burn while things, will get better in time. Right now, the share price has to make sense. And sometimes it doesn't make sense in the market, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't come back down to earth to make sense, okay? If Rocket Lab wants to grow into that current valuation of over $13 billion, they would need to literally hit 1.25 billion in revenue, which is, a 3 times jump from 2024. Then they would need to maintain strong gross margins, which, they are improving right now, but they're still not quite there. And they need to become free cash flow positive by 2026 and profitable by 2027. That's a lot of ifs. And as far as when, we don't know if they're gonna do that exactly on time. If Rocket Lab was just focused on launches, we would be in big trouble, okay? Because they would need over 4,000 launches to even be viable, okay, at their valuation. As we know, SpaceX's valuation isn't just based on their launches, it's also based on what Starlink is bringing in for them. So Rocket Lab, I think, again, will probably have their own software as a service product that they're going to deliver with the constellation or whatever. We don't yet know what it is. We don't yet know what they're doing. They're keeping it under wraps, and that's really good because we all want to have a big surprise one day. But my point is, tread carefully right now because the share price, it could go either way. It could go either way right now. It could really take off because we're getting more exposure. People are becoming more aware of Rocket Lab. Or, something could happen and it could tank back into the early 20s. So That's why I said tread cautiously. Not to mention after Rocket Lab's amazing rise, you know, from like $5 a share, you know, over 500%, now it's almost 30 a share. I mean, a lot of people have brought things back down to earth, such as Kathy Woods and ARK Invest kind of trimming their positions, the CFO Adam Spice trimming his positions, a couple other people trimming their positions. Some might be, you know, scheduled, some might be not scheduled. The whole point is that you have to know when to pump the brakes. We can't just be full on excitement about the share price, because there are good days and bad days in the stock market, and we have to be logical. We can't just be emotion based. We love the company, but it doesn't mean that the stock price is always going to perform the way we want it to or the way we wish it would. So now what, right? You're probably wondering, okay, now what? You're probably like, okay, Stock Trek girl, you pretty much are just bursting our bubble today. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not saying Rocket Lab stock isn't going to go higher, but I am saying just don't look at the headlines, okay? There's so much more going on in the background. We need to make sure that Neuron is launching this year, so we are going to keep close eyes on that. We also want to see an expansion of the Pentagon and the NATO contracts, okay? And we want to see Rocket Lab and how they're planning on integrating these newly acquired acquisitions, okay? I would like to hear more about it. I'm sure, you know, on the next earnings call, it's going to be chock full of interesting stuff. The next earnings call is going to be explosive. I'm looking forward to it. It's not going to be for a little while, but I am excited to see it and to go over it with you all, because I think it's going to be a game changer for the company as far as news-wise and the stock. But here's what I want you to be cautious about. Any more Neuron delays could set the stock price probably back down into the early 20s. Also, there could be a broad market rotation if anything happens in the political arena. You know, who knows? Things happen every day. The whole market can go red, and if the whole market goes red, that's also going to drag Rocket Lab down with it. Not because of Rocket Lab company doing anything wrong, but just because the general market could pull it down. Right now, things I think are looking favorable. I did say in an old video that if Donald Trump did win the election, Rocket Lab would stand to benefit. And I just didn't quite see it, you know, standing to benefit from a spat, you know, a feud, but, you know, whatever. Things happen. But here's the question that you need to ask yourself. Is this stock overvalued, or is this still an opportunity that is just beginning to take off?